Hey guys, Joe Madden of the Joe Madden Sports Podcast here, joined today by Crystal Score, journalist and diehard 49ers fans. We are going to be talking some football today. Crystal, how's the day going?
Oh, it's amazing. I just finished my day of work, so I get to have some wine after this and go chill at a carnival in town. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to our talk about the 49ers.
Absolutely. Well, for everyone in North America, Crystal is not having a drink at 9 or 11 a.m., depending where you are. You are over in Italy. That must be an amazing opportunity to live there.
Yeah, it's been an adjustment. I mean, I kind of understand the language. I understand more than I can speak. So I'm, learning on the fly, which is always nice. It's something I've always wanted to do. I dreamt of living in Italy when I was younger, and both my parents are Italian, and they kind of showed me the ropes and were like, "Yeah, this is where we're from. Like maybe if you kids ever want to go one day, go ahead." And me and my fiance decided to come do it. So it's been a journey, but I really love it here. The town that we live in is gorgeous. Lake view, like it's perfect.
No, it sounds beautiful, but it's got to be hard to watch your 49ers. Let's talk about your 49ers right now. What did
Oh,
you think of the end of the last season? How was that for you?
Oh, okay. So, I mean, the season in general, I think it went better than a lot of us expected. Everyone and their dog were complaining about Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, he was the narrative the entire time. It was like, this guy's not the greatest quarterback. He's this, he's that, whatever. And I didn't think that we would get to where the NFC championship game was beyond what I thought we were going to accomplish. And I mean, the season, it was heartbreaking. Of course, you get that far and you think, this is our year. And like, when everything just seems like it was somehow working, even though it shouldn't have on paper. It was one of those like fairy tale seasons. And so I thought, this is it. We're going to go all the way. And like, I've only been a fan, I mean, for 11 years. So I haven't been, a lifetime fan ever since I was born. But I did start following them when they had Alex Smith. And then, obviously Kaepernick came in and we went to the Super Bowl that season in 2012, 2013. And yeah, I thought that was going to be our year. Didn't happen. And then 2019, I was like, this is it. Didn't happen. So last season, I thought for sure this is it. Like I finally get to witness my team win a Super Bowl. They didn't make it that far, but you know what? For me, they exceeded expectations. So I'm actually pretty pumped on where they ended up. It shows that we have a lot of talent, offensively. Obviously, the defense, Nick Bosa, like we have so many weapons on the field, both defensively and offensively. So I mean, it's just that quarterback situation that we're like, ooh, what's going on?
Okay, so I have to ask, a hater or a lover of Jimmy G? I'm a big fan of his. I think he has more potential than he is given credit for. What are your thoughts, Crystal?
Well, I don't know if you can see on the wall up here. I've got like a little cartoon version of me and Jimmy Garoppolo because
I love it.
I actually love him. He's somebody, when he came into the 49ers organization, I thought that he gave us like a big breath of fresh air that like, we had a couple mishaps before in a couple seasons and like he came in and it just felt like completely the locker room shifted. Everything changed. We started winning games again. Obviously the injury, like that injured season when we had so many players on the roster that were injured. The 2020 season, that sucked. That wasn't the greatest, but you can't pin that season on Jimmy. I actually, I have a tattoo for Jimmy Garoppolo. So in the 2019 season, when he took us to the Super Bowl, I still believe he was one of the reasons that we got to that Super Bowl. I know a lot of people are like he was carried by the team, but that season was a good year. We went 8-0 and he was interviewed by Erin Andrews and she asked him, 8-0, how does it feel? And he said, feels great, baby, right? So I actually, that season, when the season ended and we lost the Super Bowl, I had made a bet on Twitter just saying, if the 49ers win, I'm going to get a tattoo of the Niners logo. And everyone's like, well, you should just get a tattoo anyways, like regardless. And so I said, yeah, for sure, I'll do it. And instead of getting the logo, I got feels great, baby. So
I love
I'm a
that.
big believer. I love Jimmy Garoppolo. I know a lot of people call me, the biggest Jimmy stan on Twitter, but I thought that he was a leader. I know he's not the greatest. He's not what you would call an elite quarterback, but I think that the players respected him. He obviously knew his way around the locker room. Debo, Kittle, all those guys, like they had nothing but amazing things to say about him, even this past season. So I still believe in him. I mean, when obviously that press conference that he gave, that like he was saying goodbye to all the faithful and everyone, it broke my heart. I actually cried watching it because the end of an era when he leaves the team, it's going to be sad. And I know a lot of people, they have their opinions about him, but we had an incredible run with him. There are a lot of people that they have to admit that the team and the organization itself changed when he came in there. So I love him. I know a lot of people will say what they want to say, but I do love him.
No, I'm a believer as well. I'm not sure how much of a believer I am in Trey Lance. I really hope that he does step up for you guys. What are your thoughts on Trey Lance?
So, I mean, I've obviously seen all the chatter that's going on, and there's, some broadcasters that have their bits and opinions that are saying there's leaked opinions by, the team itself isn't going to trust him. And they still want Jimmy G to come through, and he's potentially going to be starting week 1 against the Bears, which when I read that, I was like, whoa, like I thought he was gone. I'm confused.
Yeah.
But I do believe that Trey Lance is going to be a game changer for us because he has that long arm. Like he's got that deep pass. He's different, obviously different style than what Jimmy was, but I think it's an amazing difference of what he can do with the ball. And he can find those receivers. And we have a receiver like Debo, as long as he signs, he will sign. I know he will. But we have these receivers that can get down the field that, their yards after catch are amazing. Like it's incredible. And if Jimmy can do that, imagine what a young guy like Trey Lance, who, yes, once he learns those plays and once he gets the system down and everything, it might take a little time because Kyle Shanahan's playbook isn't easy. I guarantee anybody that tries to read that, that's difficult. Like I still hear him call plays and I'm like, I don't know what that means. Like, what is that? So as a young quarterback coming into that situation, I think it's obviously there's pressure there, and our fan base, they expect amazing right off the bat. Like that's the sad part. And that's why I think there is a lot of doubt about Trey Lance is because, he's maybe not that vet type. He's not like what Jimmy was, where he controlled the locker room and had these guys just like, come around him and just believe in him right off the bat. Whereas like, I think Trey just needs to condition himself and like get to that point. He's young. Like, he had a couple starts last season and I was pretty impressed with what he did, but there's a lot to work with in Shanahan's system. And I do think once he gets it down, he'll be amazing. So I don't know how I feel like I'm not, oh my God, 100% we're going to make it to a Super Bowl. But I also think, if everybody thought Jimmy Garoppolo was so bad and he was this trashy quarterback, like a lot of people have said, don't you think that we can at least make it back to an NFC championship game with Trey Lance, given that we have basically everybody else on the roster still? Like, that's my point. It's like, how bad can he be that he's not ready,
Yeah, just a young player there. So it will be great to see how he develops over the next couple of seasons. I definitely think give him a couple of seasons and you guys are going to be strong. What do you think of Debo Sanders? I know you just touched on it saying quickly you think he's going to sign, but really, do you think he is? Do you think you've got him locked down or?
I think so. Yeah. So, I mean, okay, I've done when I heard all this news about like him requesting a trade and everything, it really hurt because you look at our season that we had last year, we wouldn't have had that season if it wasn't for Deebo Samuel. Like the way that they utilized him was very unique and different than I think a lot of wide receivers were used. And, like, of course he wants to get paid for what he did and like the product that he gave us. And, just like the success that he had on the field, the records that he broke, like it was insane that he would be able to run the ball just as easy as he could catch it and run down the field. So I think he's one of those kind of players you don't let go, and whatever he wants, like, yeah, of course you don't want to just give him the world. You don't want to pay him whatever he's asking for, but I think you almost do, like maybe negotiate a little bit. And I know that everything that's been going on right now, like with him unfollowing the 49ers and all this stuff that's going on social media, that he's playing these little tricks and games. I do think that's a tactic that his agent has told him, in order to get the bag, you got to do this, this, and that. Like, we live in a very different time now with players that they kind of control their narrative and they control what they want out of their contracts a little bit more than they used to, I think, especially when you have the fans rallying around them on social media and like creating this buzz that didn't used to be there, right? Like we never had an opinion before. Now everybody and their dog has an opinion on social media. So I do think they're going to get a deal done. I think it's taking a bit longer than maybe Debo wanted it to be, but it will happen. Like, there's no way Shanahan lets the guy like that go. Like, you just don't. Especially, the draft wasn't crazy, like, impressive for us. You know what I mean? Like, I'm happy with the moves that we made. I'm happy we picked up that cornerback, Charvarius Ward. Like, there's certain moves that we did make that I'm like, okay, we're building. But, like, they didn't pick up anybody to replace Debo. Do you know what I mean? So I think in their mind, they're like, that he's coming back. There's no way that he's not.
Yeah, they have to hold on to him for sure. Now, you have such a young defensive line, top players as well. Nick Bosa just lit it up last year. What are your thoughts on your defensive side of the ball?
Defense, okay, like I get pretty quirky and funny on Twitter whenever I'm watching the games, and like defense has always been my favorite position. Like when I fell in love with football, it was Patrick Willis. Like those were the days, and he was one of the most incredible like the most incredible positions I've ever seen play in any sport. He was just electric. He just lit up the field. So for me, like the D is everything. And I get made fun of because I say it just like that. And of course I know my play on words, whatever. But yeah, like I think that our defense, like just like they say, defense wins championships.
Yeah.
Like we almost won a championship with how good our defensive line is. And like I'll put that. I met Fred Warner when we were in Vegas for the draft and everything too. And like he's just as calm and collected as he was as on the field that he is like in real life. And like you can just see there's so much hunger in their eyes. And like, I don't know, I love our defensive core. And I think that whatever they've done, like we've had Robert Saleh work such amazingness into that defensive line that like I feel like they've carried that with them. And even though Saleh's not there anymore and he's with the Jets, it's great, whatever. But of course I still miss him. But like they've built such an amazing foundation, and then like we're so young, like it's only going to get better. That's the great part,
Absolutely. You have a great team to build around. I really do hope you go deep into the season this year. I hope Jimmy G sticks around. I really do. Still so many question marks around that. So only time will tell with that. Crystal, anything else you want to talk about before we pop off here?
Oh man, the schedule. Okay, so I was looking at our schedule and I've obviously been reading of what other people are saying, and like a lot of people that I look up to in the 49ers community are saying, if Trey Lance can get his act together, like we're going to have such an incredibly easy schedule. And like I'm looking at it and there's not really anybody that I feel like we're going to lose to other than the Rams. Like of course the Rams are the reigning Super Bowl champs. Like okay, I'll give them a pass. They've got us there. And then I look at somebody like the Chiefs. That'll be a great game. That's one of those games that I'm just looking forward to more than anything, because we finally get to just like have that moment to hopefully come back and redeem ourselves,
October 23rd.
Yeah, October 23rd. Let's go. And then obviously one of the ones I'm looking at going to is the international game in Mexico against the Cardinals. So that's something I'm hoping to do. And I do have a couple things up my sleeve. So we didn't really talk about, like, I work for a video game company. So I'm a journalist. I create content for them. I do videos and whatnot, TikToks. Like we've been making lots of TikToks and trying to pop off on there. But I also have a couple collabs that I'm working on, and I don't want to say who it's with right now, but I potentially will be sent to a couple of the international games in general. And one of the ones that I'm looking at obviously is the 49ers game. So I have some really cool content coming up for you guys. I'm excited. And yeah, I just can't wait for the season to start.
Well, Krista, we'll definitely have you back when you want to come in and announce what you're going to be doing. I'm so excited for you for that. Right now, when people are looking to follow you on socials, where can they find you? All over TikTok, Instagram, Twitter?
Yeah, so basically everything aside from Instagram, it's going to be Crystal Score, exactly like you see right here at Crystal Score. The U before the O, I know it's a little tricky, but yeah, so that's on Twitter and on YouTube and all the fun things. And then Instagram, I don't use it as much, but it's Chrissy Rose. So it's just CRYSSY and then Rose.
Now, tell me a little bit more about this video game side of what you're doing. Because I saw a bit of this and I love it. I meant to talk about it first. I got so excited to talk football with you. So tell me about this.
Yeah, so I work for Motorsport Games, but I'm a writer for their kind of subdivision called Traction. So it's a video gaming website that focuses on racing games. So your Formula Ones, Gran Turismo, like I play this game Wreckfest, Forza Horizon 5, like all these really video gamey like driving games, which is crazy. Mario Kart, like I get to do Mario Kart games all the time. And so I actually just started doing live streams on Fridays as part of my job. So every Friday I go on the Traction stream on Twitch, and me and my coworker, we play video games together and like just talk to people about like, the real world race cars that are going on. So like Formula One, IndyCar, that kind of stuff. But then also just like have fun playing video games. So it's really awesome. It's different than what I had signed up for. I've had the opportunity to interview a couple really cool, like big names in race, like the female version. So W Series, they do Formula One races as well, but like they race the same tracks, but just not as many. And yeah, like I got to interview some of the big names in that. And then the former, the reigning champ of IndyCar as well, Alex Palau. So that was really cool. So it's been different. Like, of course, my whole heart is with football, but I love racing. And like, it's something my grandpa, he loved Formula One. So it kind of made it easy for me to transition into something like this.
Oh, I love it. That sounds so exciting and interesting. What time does that air then on Fridays?
So it's 9 p.m. Central Eastern European time. So what time is that? I believe that's 12 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah, that must be right around that 12 p.m. Pacific. So you guys make sure you go check it out. I can't believe you can sit there and talk racing while playing a Mario Kart or racing game. I'd be stuck in a corner, I tell you. I look at the wrong screen half the time. So hats off to you, Crystal.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I want to wish your 49ers all the best this season. November 13th, you guys will be playing my LA Chargers, so it's going to be a battle. It's going to be in San Fran. I can't wait to see how that one turns out. But you guys picked up some great players in the draft. Your schedule looks excellent. Final last thoughts on this upcoming season for you guys?
Man, I just honestly, if we can make it back to an NFC championship game, I think that would be a dream. Like, I'm still waiting on that Super Bowl win because like I feel like I deserve it with how much I love this team. And yeah, I wish them all the best. Sign Debo right now, like get it going. And Jimmy and Lance, like if we have both of them, I think that it'll work in our favor. So Shanny's got tricks up his sleeve, and I'm excited to see what's gonna happen. Excited for the magic.
I would love to see Lance under Jimmy for one more season, even if Lance comes out and plays more, just to give him that mentorship. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is a great mentor, and I think it's really needed for Trey Lance. Just being so young, I think he's going to do phenomenal in a couple of seasons. So it's going to be great. Crystal, thank you so much for joining me here. I wish you all the best for your 49ers and everything you're doing, and we'll have to have you back on again.
For sure. Thanks, Jill.
Thanks, Crystal. Have a great one.